I had thought that all of the high profile reporter profiles of the Trump administration had basically come out, but no, there's a big one coming out. It is Donald Trump v. the United States, New York Times reporter Michael Schmidt. And they usually will roll out a couple of little tidbits to generate interest in the book. And here's one that I found noteworthy. So this is based on former chief of staff of then Donald Trump, John Kelly, back in 2017, talking with Trump about the tense situation that was going on with North Korea. You might recall that tweets were being sent of fire and fury and all that. Okay, well, that was all public. That's just character or whatever. What was going on behind closed doors? Well, Trump apparently cavalierly discussed the use of using a nuclear weapon against North Korea, which that's fine, I guess. The weird part is that he said that if he took such an action, the administration could blame someone else for it to absolve itself of responsibility. And that seems likely. I think that you could probably get away with firing an ICBM at another continent and nobody will be looking or anything, or fly a bomber over North Korea and they won't know that it was you. And certainly no one involved in the deployment of a nuclear weapon would ever leak any of that information. But again, as weird as all of that is, and as scary that he was seriously considering nuking North Korea, which would be bad enough by itself. It's right next to Russia. They might have a problem with that. Right near China, they might have a problem with that. It's right next to our ally South Korea, which might have a problem with that. Also, Kelly responded by saying, it'd be tough to not have the finger pointed at us. Thank you for pointing that out, John Kelly. That's a good point. He tried to dissuade Trump from pursuing the option by explaining the economic repercussions of such a move. I really hope that that's not the only thing he focused on. He also brought in military leaders to explain Trump the likelihood with which war between the US and North Korea would break out. That is true. I kind of feel like post-nuke, that wouldn't be as significant necessarily, but they could have fortified missile launchers and things like that that would survive a first strike. Here's what Schmidt says though. The prospect of how many people could be killed had, quote, no impact on Trump. And look, I'm not gonna be performative and pretend that I am shocked by that, but I just want us to absorb that nuking, he didn't care that people would die. He didn't care how many would die in a war between us and North Korea. He doesn't care about the consequences. Brett, what do you think?
He's a sociopath. Like that's the part that that's the part that kept, Sting singing, I hope the Russians love their children too. Like that kind of thing. The guy is not moored by the reality that human life matters and that we shouldn't just be nuking people all willy-nilly. Now, there is something to be said where if someone tells me if you lead with what if we nuke North Korea and someone says people will die, you hopefully already knew that when you proposed the idea. So it's not like someone's being like, some people will die and he goes, what? Wait, what? At least he knows the consequences of his action, but he doesn't know the direct consequences of his actions. But beyond the direct consequence of drop a nuclear bomb, people die, completely oblivious to what that might imply.
Yeah, it is on the tip of my tongue of a scenario where a dumb character in a movie does something devastating and then explains that, don't worry, they won't know it was us. And I'm trying to remember what it was. I feel like the character was Ricky Gervais, but in any event, that is the former president of the United States who didn't, what were you gonna say?
Well, it's just every horrible, botched murder play, movie, dumb criminal movie. That's what it is. It's they'll never know it was us. This is okay, what we'll do is back the truck up to the gas station. We'll wrap a rope around it. I'll hold the rope and then we'll drive away. And they forget to cover their light. They don't realize that there are license plates that will identify your car or security cameras.
It's I don't think that you would get away with that. And it is insane that you would want to.
It's also it seems like it was a meeting where all right, there's no bad ideas. And then he started talking and they were like, I misspoke. There are bad ideas. They're all coming from this guy. And it's sad. And what he's there's a certain base level of understanding of war, the responsibility of running the military that you would hope the commander-in-chief of it would understand without you having to explain it to them.
Yeah.
This is not like, listen, maybe if we oversimplify, we can discover something fundamental as a breakthrough. But no, like, if you shoot a nuclear weapon, there's only so many countries that would be on the list of people who did it. And only your stupid supporters would be the ones who'd be like, it's a false flag operation.
Yeah, 100%. Well, they would certainly believe it. Also, bear in mind, many years ago, Trump once said in an interview that he knows more. He looked up nukes for 45 minutes, and now he knows more about nukes than anyone else in the world. I think he missed a few facts when he was doing that.
The sad part is there are facts about nukes he knows that no one else knows because they were top secret. But just the general like consequence of war, no clue.
Yeah. Also, and this is maybe the more minor thing, but Trump was baffled and annoyed that he would need congressional approval in order to conduct a nuclear preemptive strike on North Korea. So I just want you to bear in mind, one of the fundamental asymmetries is that they think that Biden can't cut student loan debt, but he can unilaterally nuke a country. So, priorities and all that. Anyway, and also I just want to show the screenshot just because I thought it was fun. John Kelly, when he came in to be like the new chief of staff, we can go to this last graphic 11. He thought, you know what the problem with the Trump thing is? He doesn't have the right staff. I'm gonna come in and staff him up. And then he found out, oh no, it's not the staff necessarily. It's that Trump is dumb and immoral and ignorant and lazy. And he wants to nuke people. Anyway, maybe he'll never be president again. And maybe we can all someday just look back on the days when he almost pressed the nuclear button. But we are not at that point yet, and he could still very well be president again.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.